it has been I was about to say I know it's been a minute, but that's a lie because I did live earlier this morning. But this is going to be a reading, a natal chart reading, I should say, and this light is about to bother me. So let me rotate. This light is gonna bother my eyeballs because I feel like I'm staring into the abyss. Okay, that's a little bit better. Kinda, not really. Okay, yeah, that actually is better. Okay. But anyway, so I am Faith, of course. If you guys could do me a solid and like the video, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. I know some of you have talked about you haven't really been getting notifications, which I don't know what to do about that besides contact YouTube, but I can only do so much. Okay. At this point, they're probably not going to listen to me. But either way, so here comes my child. Okay, sorry about that. They're probably gonna come back in a second anyway. But anyway, so I said I was gonna do this maybe like a couple months ago, and how the hell can I say I'm black and I don't do nothing for Black History Month? You know what I'm saying? Okay, so sorry about that. Anyway, so yes, I'm going to be looking at the natal chart when it pertains to Miss Rosa Parks. Now, I've been wondering if, or been thinking if I'm actually going to pull the past life cards on her. Maybe I'm not sure. Of course, we know she's passed on. But either way, I've already have her natal chart pulled up. So, like I said, we're gonna take a quick look at that per usual. If I'm going in and out, just raise your hand or just say something, and then I will silence myself so that it will kick over. But we should be okay. I have 3 bars. Yeah, I have 3 bars, and I didn't realize my computer kept picking up my other Wi-Fi. So I don't know if maybe that's what the issue was. But either way, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. Okay, and we're gonna take a look. So okay, here we are. Um, yeah, so let me go here because this looks funny. Maybe it doesn't look funny, or maybe it does look funny. Whatever. It looks funny in some type of regard. Oh, what is that? No, no, no. Go back. Oh, what is this? Okay, we're just gonna have to roll with it. So, moving on over. Why is her chart still up here? I don't know. But let me go to her chart. I could have set it up, but I guess I didn't. By the way, Rosa Parks just had a birthday on the 4th of this month. Okay. So how ironic. Her birthday is also during Black History Month. So now the birth time in the system is not that great, but I'm just going to go with it as with the chart as is. Right. So just waiting for this to load. There it goes. So here is Rosa Parks chart. Okay. So just for the basics, we see that she has a Capricorn ascendant, and it actually looks like her moon is also in Capricorn. Now, as I've talked about before, when we talk about planets in fall, planets in detriment, etc., we know that the moon is in fall, or excuse me, in detriment in Capricorn because the moon is at home in Cancer. Now, the opposite street neighbor of Cancer is what? Capricorn. All you gotta do is look directly across the street to find out where the moon, whose house the moon doesn't like to be at, and we have Capricorn. Okay, so I don't know. I think Aquarius may possibly be included in that, but Aquarius has a sub-ruler or a co-ruler of Uranus. So I think because of Aquarius's sub-ruler of Uranus, that may be why it doesn't really technically show the moon being in detriment in Aquarius. Okay, but it still could be maybe. Either way, so like I said, in terms of the basics, we have a Capricorn ascendant. We have Moon in Capricorn. Okay. We have a Scorpio midhaven. Okay. Can't tell if her Jupiter is making an aspect to her Scorpio midhaven. If it is making an aspect, and it's a nice aspect because it's making a sextile. But remember, I've talked about it before how Jupiter, Moon, or Jupiter mid aspects when they're harmonious. So sextile, trine. Okay. Now, of course, if your Jupiter is at fall, you still may get some sort of a favor or support from the public, but it may not necessarily be as and her Jupiter's at fall. But it may not necessarily be as great as if her Jupiter was in Sagittarius and it was harmonious trine to her midhaven in Scorpio. Okay. So we have an energy here of having some support, but not without having to fight for it first. And look, her Jupiter is also in the 12th house. Now we know the 12th house is the house of what? Hospitals, isolation, the subconscious mind is in the 12th house. We also know prison, charities are in the 12th house. So with her Capricorn Jupiter being at fall, we know Capricorn is also structure, CEO, service. We also know authority. So maybe right off the bat, maybe since birth, having some issues whenever it pertains to authority, but it may not necessarily be as outright as cussing them out or anything like that. It simply could just be a manner of her just saying, I don't want to do it. Not in a nasty way, just saying, I don't want to do it. But that may set off the authority to now they kind of like want to punish her. Okay. And we can say here with Jupiter being in the 12th house, it kind of like struggles a little bit to expand. But yes, going back to the chart, like I was talking about before, where was I? Aha. So, but yeah, and then I just realized she has Mars and Capricorn. I think Mars is exalted in Capricorn. So we have this energy here with her Jupiter kind of like being in fall in Capricorn. However, since the 12th house normally is Pisces, there still is some sort of protection, but maybe it's secretive because the 12th house is kind of like, to me, kind of like unknown in a way. Not everybody really has any type of access to the 12th house besides you and maybe, the people that you're close to. So we may even though we have issues when it pertains to authority, there still may have been some sort of authority figure that may have been secretly supporting her, but it wasn't outright in our faces. And that could have definitely helped her. Or maybe it could be just her own like ancestors serving, like being somewhat of like a protector for her. Cause I can see that in a way. I can see like spiritual protection in the 12th house, especially with Jupiter is there. So we have we have without a doubt, we have a pioneer, but not just that. We have someone who's not a go against the grain. Like I said, and it's not one of those where she's just like, yeah, point, in authority's face and stuff like that, bucking and stuff like that, kind of like, I wish you would. It's like a quiet no, but they don't understand it and they can't deal with it when we're talking about the authority figures. They don't like it. Okay. And then it's kind of weird how I said it feels like it's kind of secretive in terms of her being supported by like a authority figure in secret, because look, she has Scorpio midhaven, so there's some sort of secret to this. But it could be one of those things here as well where it's almost just like she bust out of nowhere, kind of just like, where'd you come from? So she may have also been like a very good observer of maybe whatever people, things, any of that. Now I should know this. I think she did go to jail. I don't know how long she went to jail, but I could possibly bet with her going in there, people probably gravitated towards her. But that's another thing as well. There's like this calming energy in a way with her, even though very quiet. Like, it's almost just like, I don't know, maybe she herself was somewhat of like a reincarnated ancestor, and there was like this presence or aura about her, even though, like I said, she could have been withdrawn, she could have possibly been in her own world or whatever it is, but it just screams power to me in some sort of a manner. I can see maybe Scorpio midhaven being kind of like powerful because Scorpio kind of like has that aura. Oh yeah, that's the word. It's like an aura. And it's some and that what I just said may kind of like signify why the public started to get behind her. You know what I'm saying? Whenever that time came, it's almost just like her aura. Something about it is just like, we have to protect this woman, even though she herself in a manner was protecting the people around her, the people that she came in contact with, but it may have not necessarily been outright. It may have been very secretive, probably very prayful, kind of just like, you across her and it'll be like, I'm going to pray for you. And it ain't no BS behind it. She truly means it. I'm going to pray for you, rather than that be, good or bad. But either way. Okay. So like I said, we have Scorpio midhaven. She has a sun in Aquarius. I mean, her first house is packed. Okay. Now we know the first house is more so specifically tied to the self. Remember, I said with the Scorpio midhaven, kind of like that energy here where she just like it just comes out of nowhere, maybe even to the point where you kind of just like, maybe minding your business. So this may be one of those things in terms of her being pushed into not really being pushed, or her being like a pioneer. It may have been as simple as her doing something for herself, something that she may have normally did, and then poof, now all of a sudden there's like this uproar, and even she could have been like, what the hell is going on? It could be one of those particular people where you're kind of so used to dealing with that type of negativity that you start to become numb. You start to kind of like ignore it in a way where it's kind of just like, somebody being racist towards her is just like, well, unfortunately, it's another day. And then all of a sudden, whenever it becomes another day, now there's like this big boom, and you're kind of just like, what the hell's going on? Like, I with this for Lord knows how long. I was just doing my normal routine. Then now all of a sudden, I'm like a pioneer. So maybe even she herself was kind of just confused about what's going on. But like I said, this could be someone who is possibly very quiet, very to themselves, very kind of like in their own little world, secluded. Okay. Kind of just like, I'm keeping my head down. I'm dealing with it because unfortunately I have no choice. And now all of a sudden the day comes, like I said, it's just a normal day and you're just dealing with the bull crap that you've been dealing with. And then poof, now all of a sudden the world is kind of like coming to your aid. The world is coming to your beck and call. I don't know the exact story as to how it happened, but my assumption would probably be, I don't know if it maybe was a man was the one that was giving her issues when it pertains to that particular her being on the bus. It may have been, I should know this story, but but yes, it just feels like it's a man, and that may have even possibly been her issue, the biggest. Like, the women could have possibly been kind of like, being, catty and stuff like that. But the men may have did her in the worst, and that's unfortunate. Okay. But anywho, so her first house, like I said, is packed. And she's definitely a thinker. I don't really think she's a talker. More thinking, less talking. I feel like that's why I said I kind of get this vibe where she was possibly shy. As you can see, her planet of destiny, which is Saturn, is in her fourth house. Now, per my chart that I have, it labels the fourth house as a house of your ancestors as well. I think your foundation, your roots. Okay. So already, and then something tied to oh god. Okay, hold on. It's so weird. Hold on just a tit. Okay, okay. Um, quiet. Okay. Sorry. Yes, yes. Maya, good point. Quiet but mighty. I would absolutely go with that. That's a good description of her. And what definitely think she came with an agenda of some sort that played out by that point in her life. I don't know. We'll have to see. I don't know if it was an agenda. Maybe it could be. I'm not going to say that you are incorrect in it could be, but to me, I think it was just for her a normal day. And somehow this normal day turned into, this big old thing, which definitely needed to happen. I mean, come on. Imagine if she didn't become a pioneer when it pertains to the civil rights movement. I mean, where the hell would we be? I mean, of course, her and others, but very pivotal, pivotal point. Jesus Christ. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. What else? North node is in the second. Her north node is in Aries. Look, now we know north node is purpose. Like I said, Saturn is destiny. Look, Aries is about the first, being like the first to do something. And look where her north node is at. The nodes of the moon. Okay? Her nodal moon placement is in the second house of Aries. Now we know the second house is also not just about money. It's tied to our self-worth, it's tied to our possessions. Um she does have Venus in fall, okay? And she may have even possibly been someone maybe in her younger years who may have struggled with her self-worth for some reason is giving something tied to like her nose. I don't know if like she didn't necessarily like something about her nose, or she may have been teased about her nose, even though the house isn't necessarily tied to the nose, is more so tied to the throat. Aries is more so the face, but for some reason something tied to beauty I feel like was questioned. Okay. um and then look, her Venus is squaring her Jupiter in Capricorn. So it's one of those things in terms of by society's norms, even in her own community, maybe even have been put down because of the way that she looks. She even back then, they're dealing with things that we're dealing with now. The only thing is now we have so much social media. Whereas imagine if social media was there back then. What if it would have been worse in terms of the way she was being treated by her own community? Because I talked about it before in Queen Elizabeth chart, and I've said it before. I mean, I've said it in other charts before that, Capricorn or Saturn is black and brown. We know the moon is tied to white. I mean, shit. In the book of rulership, you can look it up. And even in the book of rulership, even though it was written before I was born, it has the N word in there under Capricorn, I believe, or Saturn. Do I like it? No. However, I can't turn a blind eye to history. I just, unfortunately, it's just part of it. You don't want that to be the case, but we're here. Okay. But back to what I was saying, I do feel definitely questions about self worth came into play, but a lot of it may have had to deal when it pertains to like, you know, um, yeah, like I said, like being teased. Okay. Even teachers may even have possibly been doing this to her as well. And maybe that's why she kind of withdrew herself into her own little box, which I can understand that. Why would I want to talk to anybody who is being mean or cruel to me, even if you're joking? I don't feel like you're joking because that really hurts my feelings, you know? And she, again, in terms of how she processes her emotions, she has that moon in fall in Capricorn in the first house. So she immediately starts to question herself. If I pulled the past life cards on Rosa Parks, I wouldn't even be surprised if the persecution or inquisition card came out, because that's the energy of someone being accused of doing things they're not doing. You're throwing labels at me, silly me. So, although I would consider her a force, we may have someone where maybe it wasn't until that particular moment in time, whenever everything popped off when it pertains to the bus boycott, Okay. Maybe it wasn't until then that she realized the power that she has. Because, in my opinion, I think she questioned it quite a bit. And she may have been withdrawn, or she may have been detached, or maybe even possibly removed from her mother. I'm not sure if maybe her mom or was like an alcoholic, allegedly. I don't know if that's the case, but for some reason, I feel like there's some sort of family substance abuse that she may have witnessed, or, well, yeah, may have witnessed. And like I said, it could possibly be her mom, but and it kind of looks like her moon and her Pluto is making it in conjunct to one another. Now, moon Pluto aspects can be difficult because your mom, even though it's in conjunct, is not sextile, it's not opposition, it's not square, it's not trine. But it may not necessarily be there as heavy, but it's still there. Okay. So there may have even, and I don't know if she had kids. She may not have had kids because she has Saturn in the fourth. So we may have someone who may not really be interested in having a child, or unfortunately, she may have had some difficulties when it pertains to carrying children. Like, what's the opposite of Taurus? Scorpio. Um, but either way, and shoot, maybe even, and maybe poverty, maybe, that could have been one of those things as well. Kind of just like, you don't want to become a product of your environment, nor do you want your kids to become a product of environment. Even though we know the fifth house is children, this is the home. So to me, like I said, I kind of get this vibe of not necessarily really wanting to expand the home, and it could just be monetarily speaking. Okay. I mean, even if she possibly had kids, there was possibly a struggle there when it pertains to taking care of them properly. I mean, but we have Saturn and then we have Moon. So maybe in regards to the relationship, maybe with her father, or it could be a grandfather, that may have possibly went a little bit better. But like I said, maybe when it pertains to her mom, maybe it was dysfunctional in some sort of a manner, or it was too much of like a roller coaster. Okay. That will make you withdraw as well, because you just don't necessarily know how they truly feel about you, even though they're your parent. And number two, it can simply just be you just don't necessarily want to set them off, so it kind of makes you withdraw. Some days are better than others when it pertains to dealing with that person. And then it looks like Pluto, which of course we know is generational, but is going into the sixth house of health. So, I mean, um Moon, Mine, Mercury, and maybe her mom. I don't know if her mom had some sort of like mental health issues or something like that. And that could have made it difficult for her to, deal with her mom as well. We have a lot of factors at play here in terms of why she may have withdrawn herself, or just simply why, difficult life, maybe a little bit difficult. Okay. I'm trying to think of where I possibly saw this. I think whenever I was researching on Twitter, I believe I came across an astrologer, or I don't know who they were. I think they said something about like your childhood could possibly be seen by your eighth house. I don't know how true that is. Um, but maybe, I don't know. But if we were to take that theory as, truth, her eighth house is in Leo, and it actually looks like it's the last degree of Leo, which would make it Regulus, but we're going to see. Well, shoot, I was right. Her eighth house starts at the 29th degree of Regulus. We know Regulus is a fixed star. Regulus is the leader. Here, we're going to go here to my fixed star. I haven't added this website to the astrology PDF, but hopefully I don't forget. But I will get to it because there's a lot of good stuff in here. Because if you have a particular fixed star conjunct a planet, and we're not talking about outer planets, we're talking about you know the major planets: sun, moon, Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn. I feel like I'm missing something, but like that. And it has to be within at least a degree. Was it like a degree in like 40 seconds or 40 minutes or something like that? Because I've seen people bring up fixed stars, and the fixed star is like 5 degrees away from the planet. Although it's conjunct, it's not really potent at this particular point. Your fixed star needs to be smack dab on top of a planet to feel that energy. Okay. Now, again, back to my point. She has her 8th house on the Regulus degree. And so here we go, right here. 9 degrees, 53 seconds. Leo, Regulus, Lion's Heart, the most royal star, Raphael, the healing archangel, the watcher of the north, nobility, ambition, alertness, great power, status, leadership, sudden downfall, accidents, violence. Okay, excuse me. So if we take that particular theory in practice in terms of possibly how your childhood was like, with her 8th house being on the 29th degree of Leo. Leo's tied to the sun, right? So we can even, and the sun is in Aquarius. So we can even possibly say that even as a child, her parents may have self-soothed her into oblivion, because it's almost like, I knew you can handle it. But that can be difficult. She may have had to possibly grow up too fast, or she may have possibly had to grow up in a manner where it's like missing on that nurturing that you would like. Now you're having to soothe yourself. Okay. If you, I don't know, maybe if she cries or she hurts herself, they're kind of just like, oh, she's okay. I don't know, maybe kind of like treating her like a young boy or something like that. But that could be annoying, because you want to be able to be soft. I don't want to be hard all the time. And that may have been an obstacle for her. People always just expect me to just be tough, to be strong. And that's why I remember what I said. It could have just really been a regular day. I don't necessarily think this was anything that she hadn't experienced even since she was smaller. But she possibly grew numb to it in some sort. It's like she detached her emotions from it. It's like, I'm tired of crying over it because I've cried over it enough. But she's cried over a lot of things, or she cried over a lot of things enough. Having to, who knows, be by yourself. Who knows if she has siblings? I don't know. Could have possibly had to raise them. Just literally having to be the strong one out of the pack. Who the hell's to do that all the time? It eats at you. You don't want it to, but it does, So, oh my God, you've been a lot. I just can't read. Too much. I don't know. CRM. Darker, but 15 was really technical. Oh, I don't know nothing about that. You see, I'm just like, I'm behind. I know I should know this, but I don't. My dad would be so disappointed if I clicked my dad in on this, and his mouth would drop to the floor, because he was about that whenever we were younger. Maybe I kind of like tuned it out a little bit. I know it's bad, but man, you can only read so many books. Okay. You can only read so many books. I know it's terrible. Anyway, so let's take a look at some of her degrees. Okay. But it's like a battle, I feel like, especially when it comes to self. Okay. But anyway, so what can we look at? She was born on the 4th. Okay, so I guess we'll look at her sun, because she was born on a 4th day. The 4th is tied to the sun. 1 and 4 numerology is the sun. So let's take a look. Her sun sign is in 15 degrees. And I think the 15th degree is Mercury, Gemini, something of that magnitude. But let's take a stab at this. I should still have it pulled up on my phone. No, I don't. Okay. Let's go here. Oh, that's not it. This is it. I'm going to actually have to go back through and see if there are any fixed stars. I'm assuming there probably is some, but I'll go back through and look in just a second. Okay, so Aquarius 15 degrees says inspiration, spiritual awakening, useful art, service to humanity. Boom. I said it, didn't I? I said it was that one moment, and then now all of a sudden something just goes off within inside of her. Something awakens. The power that she probably underestimated, now you're just like, oh my God. It's like a light bulb moment. Like the degree says, you're literally having an awakening during a time of triumph. So now it's like, wow, all those years or all that time that I was having to be strong and having to be this, it's like it's paying off. And you can't believe it. Because for so long, maybe in a way she was possibly like overlooked, or she was always having to be her own hero. And now other people want to come in and be a hero, and you're kind of like looking around like, oh my God, am I in the Twilight Zone or something like that? This is crazy. But again, still the degree also says service to humanity. I wonder if her sun is making any aspects. It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like it's not, except to maybe the midhaven. But let me see. Sun square midhaven. I think that might be it. Yeah, that's it. Her sun is only making an aspect to the midhaven. So while we're on that particular topic, let's take a look at her midhaven. And look, her midhaven is on a number 8 degree. 8 is Scorpio, right? Yeah, 8 is Scorpio. So her Scorpio midhaven is on a Scorpio degree. Let's take a look, shall we, and see what it means. Okay. Scorpio 8 degrees, orphanage, neglect, what I say, doomed, self-assertion, despair, pretty much goes into what I was saying already when it pertains to me looking at the planets in her first house. Okay. And now with her midhaven, look, loneliness, by yourself. And you know what? I have a feeling that the whole situation that happened with her, she may even possibly have been alone at the beginning. And then something clicked with somebody somewhere, and it just like, wait a minute, we have to possibly go get her. We have to do something. So in some sort of a manner, magnitude, she had to fight through it. She had to be her own hero, like she always had to be in the past. Okay. So being alone at first when it pertains to with her son, on that degree of awakening, being a service to humanity, maybe in some sort of a manner, when we're talking about neglect, doomed, self-assertion, I don't know if she had to get herself out, or it's just one of those things here where it's kind of just like, I just have to wait this out until they say I can go home, because it could have been one of those situations where she may have been used. But in some sort of regard, she's a little bit oblivious. She probably didn't have a clue that she was being used, but she could have possibly been used in a manner when it pertains to the public. You see, and maybe, remember I talked about it at the beginning when I said there may have been some sort of authority figure that maybe was supporting her, but it was very covert. It was very behind the scenes. Maybe it was this, maybe that this could describe that particular person neglecting her. She and what if she made the phone call to that particular person and was just like, this is what happened. And what if they ignored her at first? And then all of a sudden, now you want to change your mind and you're just like, oh, probably shouldn't ignore her. Or you let it build up because you want it to be fireworks. So in some sort of regard, she was like a pawn within her own community. But remember, I talked about it before when I said her Venus is making a square to her Capricorn Jupiter. And I said, kind of like maybe being bullied by her own community, which is just terrible. But we're not going to sit up here and pretend like that shit doesn't happen. Okay. It happens today. You guys see it. It's not cool, but you can't control what people do, even if they're shitty. You just can't. Okay. But, also she may process her emotions. Maybe this is just my opinion. Maybe she processed her emotions by maybe turning to religion or spirituality, or maybe just reading the Bible. So maybe not really processing her emotions per se, maybe kind of like dumping them when it pertains to like dumping them in the Bible. I don't know, going to church or something like that. But it could kind of in a way be working against your favor, because you still need to deal with said issues. You can't just throw them off. I mean, hey, we get it. Some of you guys who are raised Southern Baptist or raised religious, you know how it goes. But I'm just saying, it may not necessarily be good for you in the long run. Okay. So what else? I mean, she has a lot of things squaring her midhaven. She has a sun. Looks like she may have Mercury as well. Uranus, not the moon. I don't think the moon's squaring. It doesn't look like it. No. So Uranus, which is in Aquarius, which is at home. Merc is in Aquarius, which I don't know how Mercury does in Aquarius. I haven't gotten that far in the book. But let's see. Mercury, and it's on 8 degrees. Shoot. This is not good to be used as a pawn. I mean, it's just not good. Who wants to do that? It makes you in some sort of way, it makes you want to turn against your own kind because you're just like, wow. I mean, it's pretty screwed up that you would use me in that type of way. This is part 1 of the series, people. Anyway, so Aquarius 8 degrees is a degree of power, aggressive, endurance, energetic, alert, intense, directness. But remember, I talked about that before when I talked about her Jupiter in the 12th house in Capricorn. When it comes to authority, remember I said she may be that person where she's not fussing or cussing, anything like that when it pertains to authority figures. She's just telling you no. Very probably, I don't know if she was soft spoken. She could have possibly been soft spoken, but it could just be in maybe a monotone voice. Maybe in that voice, kind of just like, I don't care. You really can't do nothing to me. It's a simple no. And then the authority figures flip their wig because they can't understand why this person is not afraid. But it's like, why would I be afraid? I've had to endure things on my own for a long period of time. So what's the worst that you could do to me? Somebody who has nothing to lose is a powerful person because you don't give a damn at that particular point. You don't have nothing to lose. It literally is like, what you going to do to me? Nothing that I haven't already experienced. Power, as you can see. Her mind, I mean, and that's another thing as well. I said she was a thinker, didn't I? Yes, I said she was a thinker. But even if it pertains to her thinking, even if she would have had to stay in that prison for a couple months, it doesn't matter. She's like, I'm going to think my way out of it. I'm going to try to make the best of my situation. That sounds like somebody who's been through some shit. And like I said, you've became numb to it to where you're just like, that's okay. I'll just think my way out of it. Like, it's almost like somebody could spit in her face. That's okay. I'll think my way out of it. So it's power, but it's not in the manner of like Mars power. You know what I'm saying? It's not in your face. It's not trying to, beat you up or anything like that. It's different. I'm going to be the thinker. I'm going to use my intellect. I'm not going to fight. I'm not going to use my hands. And look, we know Scorpio. Scorpio can be what? Vengeance. Booyah. My mind is the vengeance. Oh, I'm gonna get you one way or another. Come, was it hell or high water? Whatever, um, I mean, this is one of the better charts that we've read, to be honest. What else do we want to look at? I guess we can look at her moon in Capricorn. Her moon in Capricorn is at the 25th degree, which I think is Gemini, maybe. But either way, Capricorn, 25 degrees. Look at this. Intellectual, manual skills, triumphs, fame, calm, gentle, irresistible. So we can say that irresistible, you know, in a could come play when it pertains to, like I said, it's hard to ignore it at this particular point. But what if like that political, or honestly, maybe it was a politician, maybe there was some sort of politician or someone in power in politics that she may have reached out to, this authority figure, and they ignored her, but then someone else was kind of just like, oh, we can't let her sit here, we can't do that. So, but whoever this was could have been the person who, I'm honestly going to have to take a look at Malcolm X's chart because something is ringing bells. I'm not saying that it would have been him, but something is ringing bells here. I mean, something bells, you know? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Lisa. I'm like, what the heck? You put the acronyms there. Um oh, hello to everybody. J Emmanuel, good suggestion. Good suggestion. Good suggestion. Thank you. Okay, so let's go to the fixed stars. I think we're going to look at that now. Okay. Now, of course, um, well, I guess it doesn't really matter because I can just look at it here. I mean, I should put her chart in Astro so we can see if her fixed stars are making any aspects to any other planets, but we'll save that probably for later. It's either going to be Malcolm X or Martin Luther King Jr. is going to be the next one in this particular series. But yes, why not do it? Why not? I need to learn more about my history. I need to learn more about the people that came before me. So yes, I don't know if we're going to do Rodney King. I don't know. I was born a couple months after that Rodney King situation went down. So, I don't know if I'm going to do that one. By the way, so let's see if her sun is sitting on a fixed star. So we know her sun is on 15 degrees Aquarius. So let's go down to the list in Aquarius and you go down here. Okay, thank you. We're going to go down to Aquarius and see if it's on a fixed star. Would you look at that? We got one. Her sun is exactly conjunct the fixed star of Alnair, retiring, active, proud, watchful, kind, idealistic, devoted, liking for astronomy, the bright one. Things I've already said. So with this fixed star being so, oh, yes, it's just busting the door. Okay, so sorry about that. Back to what I was saying. With that fixed star out there being exact conjunct on her sun, and she was born on a number 4 day. So she has the sun energy like double time. I mean, boom, all these things here in the description of this fixed star, it says it all, the bright one. Remember, I said she's gonna beat you intellectually. I ain't gotta put my hands on you. I ain't even gotta get outside of my skin. I ain't gotta do none of that because I'm gonna beat you intellectually. Very smart. Remember what I said before, I kind of got that vibe with her, possibly whenever she was growing up, that it was more so like she got it. Don't worry about her. She'll figure it out. Like it's almost like you are breeding her to be strong, breeding her for this day. And you don't even realize that this day is going to come where she's going to be this pioneer. Okay, watchful. Remember, I talked about that before where I said this is someone who literally will pray for you, and it's not smoke and mirrors. How some people be like, "Oh, my thoughts and prayers," and they ain't prayed a damn day in their life, but it sounds good. Not her. When she says it, it's like I'm serious. I am going to pray for you, but this feels like somebody who's always been for everybody else. And then the time comes whenever they need to be for themselves and they still struggle at it. Okay. But honestly, with this idealistic energy here, maybe when she was like in her teens or something like, or maybe in some sort of way, people could have said that she was like the ideal worker or the ideal child because you're so smart. And when she commits, when she puts her mind to it, she puts her mind to it. It's gonna be kind of hard for her not to do it. Okay. And we have this energy here of retiring now. I don't know about, okay. But with her sun being on the 15 degrees of Aquarius tied to service to humanity, awakening, maybe she was working past the time where she's supposed to be at home. It's kind of just like, but retiring makes you just taking a load off. So maybe that's what happened. Maybe she was literally taking a load off and it wasn't as deep as we possibly tried to make it out to be from her perspective. Maybe she was taking a load off when she got on that bus and it was just like, Well, shit fire. I'm tired. I am tired as hell. And I just want to sit. I don't want to do anything else. And maybe during that particular time, maybe her intellect, that she normally so good, maybe it kind of like shut down, possibly because of tiredness. So you guys have been there. When you're tired, you don't see nothing else but the bed. You could damn near fall asleep standing up. You're so tired. And it may have been one of those things. You're taking a load off, and then boom, it gets active. And you're like, what's going on? What's going on? And I would say that day, or there came a period in her life, maybe multiple times, where after it was all said and done, she probably took a step back and she was just like, wow, I'm proud of myself. Like I said, this is somebody who they have to push themselves along. They always have to be their own cheerleader because nobody else is wanting to do it. And that sucks. But humanity was proud of her, period. Even though it's likely she was set up by maybe somebody in politics. It was probably somebody of her own kind, in my opinion. Who knows who that person could be? Okay, I don't even think he was alive whenever, because I have a name. I don't even think that he was alive whenever this all happened. I don't think so. 1940. Did he ever? I wonder if he ever lived in America. Hold on, I have to ask this. This one may be another interesting one. Where did he live? Oh Lord, I hope he didn't live in I hope he didn't live in Little Rock, Jesus. I'm pretty sure he did. Where did he live? Did he ever trade? In 1916, he moved to the United States. And okay, I heard Marcus Garvey. I could be absolutely wrong about that. But immediately, whenever I said that line, somebody of her own kind, etc., something like that, I heard Marcus Garvey. But once again, I could be 100% wrong, and that's fine. But I'm just going offline. But there is somebody who very secretive, okay, who in a manner set her up, or absolutely 100% positively knew what was happening to her, and they did nothing. They let her sit there in isolation. It's very cruel, but I could be wrong. I don't know a lot about Marcus Garvey besides the fact that he's a Pan-Africanist, and I don't know a lot. That was one of the ones that I probably closed my eyes on. But either way, so let's see if there's another fixed star in here. So let's take a look at her. Since she has Mercury in 8 degrees and she's an intellectual, let's take a look and see if there's any fixed stars there. So no, remember I said the fixed stars, it needs to be within a degree, 1 degree in like 40 seconds. Anything over that, move on to the next one. Okay. Oh, I found my scrunchie. I've been looking for this. Okay, let's look at another one. Oops, wrong one. I hope you guys can see me clicking on that. Anyway, let's move to another one. So let's take a look. And I would say fixed stars conjunct your ascendant and midhaven are also important, but again, it needs to be within a degree in 40 seconds. So if her Capricorn ascendant is in 19 degrees, the fixed star needs to be on 18 degrees, 49 or 18 degrees and maybe like 20 seconds, or 20 degrees in like 30 seconds. It doesn't need to go over that at all, or it doesn't matter, but and while we're on that subject, let's actually take a look and see if there is a fixed star on the 19th degree of Capricorn, because I'm not sure. As you can see, this list is long, and there's no way I'm going to remember all these. In theory, it would be nice, but I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, here we go. And she has 2. She has Shelik, I don't know if that's how you say it, and she has the Neb. She has 2 fixed stars conjunct her ascendant. So artistic talent, sexual adventures, disgrace. Look at that. Gaudiness, independent thought. Talk about it. Talk about it. Trouble with authority, death by violence. I don't know how she died. I really don't. But that goes along with things that we've already talked about. So that's fixed star number 1. Number 2, Deneb, martial arts, ability to command, liberality, beneficence, very fortunate. Okay. So those are fixed stars, but they're not super major ones like Vega. Vega, that's a big one. I think the guy who founded Louis Vuitton, he has this, I think, conjunct his son. And you see how he came out, you know. But anywho, so yes, that goes along with things we've already talked about. Let's look at some more. Actually, let's see if she has a one on her midhaven, 8 degrees Scorpio. I'm assuming there probably is one. So let's take a look. Scorpio. Oops, can't spell. 8 degrees, right? Nope, for the Scorpio. Nope. So no fixed star on her midhaven. Let's look at if there's a fixed star on her Saturn. Her Saturn is on 27 degrees Taurus. All right. Let's take a look. 27. Oh, wait a minute now. There is a fixed star on that, isn't there? Booyah. Oh, wow. That is Ogle. That is a big one. Now, that's a big fixed star. Primitive female sexuality, strangulation, beheading, danger to the throat and neck, murder, violence, mass catastrophe, the evil one, the demon star, passionate, intense, hysterical. But remember I said there's that energy of whoever the hell this person was that absolutely knew that she was in trouble in prison. Maybe they kind of like laughed at her. Maybe they thought it was hysterical. But remember I said before that it's possible that she was maybe a victim of bullying. You know, Algo is one of those fixed stars where this is somebody who will literally walk over dead bodies. It won't phase them. So even though we have this maybe in some type of manner this could be added to her strength. So of course it's not just all good. Maybe in some sort of a manner there is that other side of her where it's almost just like, well shit. Somebody may be able to die in front of her and she may not bat an eye. It may not bother her like it would possibly bother, someone else. As you can see, this here is very unfortunate. So when it pertains to her destiny, based off of the fixed star conjunct her Saturn, her destiny would be an unfortunate one. Why? Because it's at the expense of someone else. And maybe again, I wasn't alive during that time. Maybe it was one of those things as well where people may even have possibly tried to blame her if people like died or if people were being brutalized in the ways that they don't talk about in books. They may have threw that back at her and be like, you see, it's your fault. Remember I said persecution and inquisition, being blamed for something that's not your fault. And again, like I said, I think she was sitting down, taking a load off. She was retiring from the day. I don't think that she stood in the mirror and said, Rosa Louise Macaulay Parks, tomorrow is going to be the day that you will not give up your seat. I don't think that was the case at all. I think she absolutely got on there and she's just like, I am beat. I don't want to do anything but really close my eyes. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't even be surprised if maybe she was asleep. I don't know if she was or she was dozing off in some sort of regard because I think she was just tired. So an unfortunate destiny. One that may include decapitation of heads. It may include brutalization. It may include dead bodies, and we have the 4th house. I mean, I don't know if maybe something happened to her family because of this, maybe them being brutalized or maybe them being choked, strangled, all those things. It's unfortunate. Threats, all that because, and again, like I said, it couldn't even have been from her own people because it's almost like you're disrupting the flow. Yes, we know that we are, at a disadvantage. Yes, we know we are being riddled with racism every single day of the week, but you cannot sit your ass up here and disrespect things that we have to do. So we have people who were we maybe and maybe a big bulk of people, maybe more people than what we realize. We have these people sitting up here opening their mouths and saying, "How dare you stand up to injustice?" Even though she really didn't do it for injustice, she just did it because it's just like, shoot, I'm really just trying to get home, and maybe it's one of those things where it's like, well, there's an empty seat. I ain't standing. I've been standing all day. I'm gonna sit down, and it was the kickoff. But like I said, you still have those maybe groups. And honestly, maybe her family, shockingly, could even have turned their back on her and been like, wow, I mean, why would you do this? But it's not shocking because, like I said, this may be someone who, even as a child, had to do a lot of stuff on their own. So her family turning their back on her wasn't the worst thing that could happen because it for her, maybe it's like it's happened before. So I ain't shocked. But it sucks to be alone in this world, even whenever you're just trying to do the right thing. But sometimes doing the right thing is bad, because it just causes a lot of chaos. And I feel like that's kind of like the way that they were being. Maybe they kind of like punished her in a manner for literally doing the right thing. You know, she did the right thing in terms of, I don't want to move. I don't have to move. I'm tired just like you tired. What the hell makes you think that you deserve to rest and I don't? But this is something that she's always done. It's always been that quiet kind of, no, I'm not going to do this. It's just not going to happen. And people can't handle it. The people that she was dealing with, they could not handle it. You know? Let's check out some more. Okay, let's see if she has a fixed star conjunct her. Oh, can we do the nodes? I don't know. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe because North Node is purpose. So maybe we can do it for the nodes. What was it? Aries, what? Aries 5. Oh, look at that. And her North Node is on the 5th degree of Aries. We know the 5th degree is tied to Leo. Leo is tied to fame. So, well, there it is. Going down in history books. Is it 20? Yeah, I was just about to say the 28th degree somewhere in here. Yes, it is. 28th degree is tied to Cancer. And I think I've read or I've heard somewhere the 28th degree can kind of be like that. Like going down in history in some sort of manner in her generation. Because look, Pluto is generational. Okay. But anyway, let's take a look and see if there's a fixed star conjunct that. Aries, was it 5 degrees? Okay. Oh, go back up. Thank you. Nope. No fixed star. Even though we do have this 2 degrees, 35 seconds, it's too far. It's way too far. That would be like a 3 degrees of separation between the fixed star and North Node is not tight enough. And in my opinion, honestly, 1 degree, that's it. I mean, like if it's 5 degrees, 4 degrees, and 6 degrees, anything else, like throw it in the trash. Okay, but there's 40 seconds, so you get 40 seconds of room to grow, I guess. What else? Oh, I didn't look at the moon, did I? If there's a fixed star on the moon. Well, maybe I did. Did I do that? I think I did. Probably. Maybe her Jupiter. Her Jupiter is at fall. I don't know if she was married, but if she was, maybe her husband went to jail. Not because he did anything, but because he's married to her and they're just like trying to punish her all the way around. Woo. It was 7 degrees, I think, her Jupiter. Yes, 7 degrees Capricorn. Okay. So we have this one. We'll take that 6 degrees, 9 degrees, 6. Okay, yeah. Promoters of and this one is Cos Borealis. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is Latin. Promoters of idealistic and humane ideas, promoters of mental stimuli, enterprise, and the sense of justice. What I say? This right here is sticking out. Promoters of idealistic and humane ideas, promoters of mental stimuli. Remember I said a political pawn or a pawn period. Promoters right here. in her 12th house. Very secretive. Very secretive. What was the other one? And then we have facies. I think that's how you say it. Blindness, violent death, sickness, accidents, leadership, war, coldness, detachment, perfectionism, earthquakes, pure combative energies. Talked about it. Risk taking, glamour, seeks fulfillment through charitable works. Ah, that sucks. Talk about the money that was probably raised because of this particular incident, which is just for her, just me saying no, I'm just trying to get home. I'm not trying to do this for political gain. Kind of like how you may see some people do that today when it pertains to certain situations. They jump in on it because it's not about raising the awareness for the justice. It's more so about how can I capitalize off of this unfortunate time in history where people are wanting to throw their money to the wind to prove they're not racist or to prove that they are not for injustice. How can I do that? Not like that. Now, I'm not saying that that probably wasn't going on back then, but it's more out in the open now because, like I said, we got social media. We got people doing research on these people who are running these charities, and they're kind of just like, oh, this person is clearly using this unfortunate event to gain money, you know. Oh, I'm pretty sure there was some. And like I said, I would probably bet that whoever the hell this person was that would be in her 12th house was probably like that. But very secretive. Anyway. Mm-hmm. What are you saying? So, well, without a doubt, a pioneer, no question about it. And if anybody was to question it, shame on them, because you couldn't get more stronger at this point than Rosa Parks. And what turned out to be her doing something for herself that was considered the right thing, it changed because we think about it. Scorpio, Pluto is big change. If you think about it, because it's that energy of death, rebirth is literally a death card. You know, it is progress. Okay, it's movement without a doubt. Even though it was hard, it was definitely hard on her. Probably aged her faster than what she needed to, be aged because stress. I get it. But sacrifice. And that was all in her Scorpio midhaven when we talked about that particular degree. Sacrifice. But yeah. I mean, my opinion, great reading. It's eye-opening. It's nice to see. Again, might have to. I'm thinking Malcolm X. But I'm also preparing myself for disappointment when it comes to Malcolm X. For some reason, I just feel like I'm going to be 100% disappointed with him. I feel like that. And that's unfortunate because I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to be disappointed because he is considered one of the greats, but I got a feeling I'm going to be disappointed. Okay? What is going on here? Tarot Destroyer, thank you for the information. What? I don't know. I don't know if Tarot Destroyer is in here, but are we going to have a problem, Miss Ma'am or Mr. Sir? Because I don't know about what you said prior to this. Yeah, I think we're going to have a problem, aren't we? Because you're one of those. I hope you're not. I would hope that that's not true for you. I would hope not. Because I'm trying to figure out how to take this because what the fuck? Like, I'm having to reread this because it's like, you know what? Wait a minute. You're being a dick. Now that shit may pop for somebody else, but this shit don't pop over here. So it's unnecessary. It really is unnecessary. And I hope your sleep is interrupted with needles. Anyway, moving. I really don't allow it, guys. I don't think you guys don't understand. I don't allow it. I just don't allow it. There we go. Okay, they're gone. Anyway, so thank you, Lisa. Thank you. I had to read it a couple times because sometimes I don't want to jump the gun and I don't want to throw somebody, to the rafters and hang them by their feet for no reason. I don't want to do that. But that one, you gotta go. Anyway, so this was a good reading, and I really enjoyed it. Okay, that's just me personally. I really enjoyed it. So I will be preparing myself to do Malcolm X. I really appreciate all you guys coming in and listening. Of course, this will be up for the replay. And yes, thank you, Lisa, for all this information because I also learned something as well during this particular live. Okay, so it was nice, and I'll be back later. See you guys.